Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're joining us today because we are breaking down a seriously fascinating roadmap to financial independence. We're going to unpack self-made multimillionaire Mark Tilbury's foundational principles for building true wealth. But, we aren't just talking about what you should be doing. We're focusing heavily on what you absolutely must avoid. We're going to dissect the 7 critical traps that keep the vast majority of people financially stuck, and way more importantly, how you can actually escape them. Okay, let's dive into this because we need to immediately shatter this whole illusion of social media wealth. Look, we all scroll through our feeds every single day, right? We see people living these incredibly lavish lifestyles, and it's so easy to feel like everyone else has it all figured out while we're just kind of falling behind. But the reality, it's incredibly stark. 60% of American households, that is way more than half, simply cannot afford to buy a new car. And even more alarming, 37% can't even afford a $400 unexpected expense. I mean, really think about that. Nearly 4 in 10 people are just one minor emergency, like, a broken washing machine or a flat tire, away from a full-blown financial crisis. The wealth we think we're seeing all around us, it's often just a very well-curated facade. Section 1. The Wealth Mirage. So, the biggest initial trap to building real wealth actually isn't a lack of opportunity. It's the visual illusion of wealth that tricks us into making terrible financial decisions. We're talking about total smoke and mirrors here. Picture this. You're cruising through the sun-drenched streets of Dubai in a bright yellow Lamborghini, pulling up to some swanky restaurant to order a $500 gold leaf steak from Salt Bay. It feels like success, right? Well, actually, scratch that is a total mirage. The massive trap here is that the vast majority of people living this way are funding a luxury lifestyle entirely on credit cards. They are literally pretending to be rich while actively drowning in debt, all just to play this fake social media flexing game. I mean, it might take 5 months of hard labor just to pay off that one single trip to Dubai. In the early days of wealth building, you simply cannot live like a king and build wealth at the exact same time. And this brilliantly illustrates a massive mindset shift we have to make. We need to contrast depreciating items with real, actual assets. Those flashy cars, the designer clothes, the expensive dinners, they lose value almost the exact second you pay for them. True wealth is built on real assets. We're talking things like stocks, shares, crypto, and real estate. The entire goal is to invest your early money into assets that actually increase in value and generate their own income. Once your assets are throwing off enough passive income, well, then you can go ahead and buy the yellow Lamborghini. Section 2. Rethinking how you earn. To escape the next set of traps, you have to fundamentally change your view of jobs, labor, and the concept of income itself. Look, most people blindly follow path A. They chase a boring job simply because it pays well right now, they prioritize money early on, and sure, their friends are impressed, their parents are proud, but eventually their earning potential just hits this rigid plateau. Path B? That is the millionaire's route. It's challenging, it has way lower initial pay, and yeah, you might even struggle to pay the bills at first. But it prioritizes 2 absolutely crucial things: skills and equity. Mark Tilbury actually lived this. He left school at 16 with 0 qualifications, but he had 5 job offers on the table. Instead of taking the highest paying one, he intentionally chose a low-paying carpentry apprenticeship. He knew he wasn't getting equity, but the skills he learned were going to be a long-term asset. And even though he eventually quit after being relentlessly bullied by his manager, he literally still uses those exact design and building skills today for his incredibly successful brand of radio-controlled planes. You've got to start viewing your skills like a giant Swiss Army knife, collecting tools that make you highly adaptable and super valuable. Right now, there is a massive opportunity in online-based, high-income skills. Things like copywriting, video editing, and coding. These are in ridiculously high demand. And here is the crazy secret. While it might seem like everybody is doing this, there is actually a huge skill shortage. 99% of the people offering these services online are simply not up to standard. If you can buckle down and actually master these skills, your competition really isn't that tough, and it becomes almost impossible for you to ever be broke again. Now, once you have those skills, you can leverage them for our next concept, which is sweat equity. This just means earning a percentage of a business's ownership and profits through your highly valuable skills and your hard work, rather than just, writing a check to purchase shares. A lot of experts, like entrepreneur Simon Squibb, for instance, advise people to just go right up and ask their boss for equity. But hey, you have to have some self-awareness here. You can't just ask for it because you want it. You have to build a really solid case for how you can add immense value to the business instead of just taking from it. You must first become truly worthy of that equity.
Another huge trap is thinking you have to do the whole shebang yourself. Collaboration and delegation are incredibly powerful. Just look at Team Synergy. People always look at Elon Musk and think he's this lone genius, right? Far from it. He was part of the incredibly talented PayPal mafia. When eBay bought PayPal for $1.5 billion, that specific team took their wealth and their synergy and went on to build YouTube, Yelp, LinkedIn, and SpaceX together. It's wild. And hey, if you aren't building a billion-dollar company, look at Tech Delegation. There are countless older, traditional businesses out there that are completely lost when it comes to the internet. They don't know how to set up modern invoicing, websites, or project management. By mastering all-in-one platforms like Odoo, for example, you can step in, bring those older businesses into the 21st century, and make a lot of money in the process by doing the heavy lifting they just can't do themselves.
Section 3. Mastering your mindset. We're moving into the internal, deeply psychological roadblocks that stop people in their tracks.
Have you ever felt like you're just being pulled in a million different directions all at once? Yeah, that is cognitive overload. We are constantly bombarded by inputs today. Everyone has an opinion on whether you should be an entrepreneur, get a 9-to-5, travel the world, or go back to school. The sheer number of potential paths completely overwhelms the brain, leading to decision paralysis, where you essentially end up doing nothing at all. So, the solution? Start with your end destination in mind and work backward. Cut out the general noise from people who haven't achieved what you want and rigidly limit your inputs to only expert advice.
So the crucial point here is understanding the real danger of ego. This perfectly captures the iceberg principle. Arrogance is a silent wealth killer, for sure. Highly ego-driven people are so focused on the big picture, and they're so convinced they already know everything that they completely ignore the small, vital steps required to actually get there. They literally only see the tip of the iceberg and miss the massive chunk of knowledge hidden beneath the surface. True wealth isn't just about confidence, it requires profound humility. The more you learn, the more you must realize just how much you really don't know. Consider this really powerful piece of wisdom. The man who blames others has a long way to go. The man who blames himself is halfway there. The man who blames no one has already arrived. Passing the blame is one of the most common and honestly most destructive traps we fall into. I mean, it's so incredibly easy and natural to blame your teacher for a failed test when, let's be real, you were actually binge-watching Netflix. It's easy to blame the traffic for being late when you know you left 10 minutes too late. But these small instances of blame, they grow into massive excuses. Every single day, you have a choice to make. Are you going to pick up the magnifying glass or the mirror? If you pick up the magnifying glass, you hyper-focus on other people's faults and systemic issues. You start making these big excuses like, oh, the system is rigged, or the government hates young people. But if you pick up the mirror, you focus solely on your own controllable thoughts and actions. To truly arrive at your destination, you must commit to picking up that mirror every single day and taking absolute ultimate accountability for your life. Section 4, escaping the comfort zone. The seventh and final trap is staying static in a self-imposed prison of safety. Let's move to and see how this builds across an actual lifetime by mapping out Mark Tilbury's own journey. The comfort zone is just a circle, and to grow, you have to actively push and expand it. At age 16, he stepped way out of his traditional schooling comfort zone to take a really tough apprenticeship. In his early 20s, he pushed even further by experimenting with unfamiliar side hustles. In adulthood, he took a massive risk, a bank loan to start a business, and literally traveled all the way to China to find manufacturers, battling huge language and cultural barriers. And get this, even after achieving major success and a happy family, he felt complacent. So, at age 53, he expanded his comfort zone yet again to start a YouTube channel just to share his knowledge. The space outside your comfort zone is infinite, but you have to go out and claim it for yourself. So, what does this all mean for you? Take a moment and really ask yourself, which of these 7 wealth traps are you currently falling into, and what step will you take today to escape it? Are you chasing that mirage of wealth? Are you stuck in a cozy comfort zone? Are you looking through a magnifying glass instead of a mirror? Acknowledging the trap is the very first step to building foundational, long-term wealth. Thank you so much for joining us in this explainer today. Now go grab that mirror, figure out your trap, and let's get to work.